To understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
You have failed this city.
So I have this thing with rolls?
Just the end of the world.
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
You're the boy from the circus.
I started up a security firm.
Finally, a superhero team I can actually get behind.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. I'm Little Eddie O'Hare, a aspiring professional fanboy.
And I'm Sarah Nepsley, academic by day, writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we've got 3 new episodes for you this week.
They're growing.
And I believe next week we're getting to 4, right?
Ooh, it's so exciting.
I know. I feel like we need to cling to this feeling because it's not going to be around for long.
Well, you know.
But look, I am excited that we have these fine episodes to discuss with you. So, you know.
Yeah. And Sarah, I was on a kick last night running through DC Universe after watching the latest episode of Harley Quinn, which have you caught, Sarah?
No, I actually fell behind on Harley Quinn in an inexcusable way. So I have been catching up. So I'm in a Harley Quinn place. But no, I did not see the most recent one. Can you discuss it without spoilers?
Well, I will just say that there's a whole framing device in that episode which involves misogynist internet trolls.
Actually, while we were dealing with our technical difficulties just now, I think I watched that clip. It was posted independently, so it was the 2 fellas on the couch. Yeah. Yeah, Harley Quinn is very self-aware, and I think that's probably one of the things I love about it the most.
Yeah. Well, after watching that episode, I was just like scrolling through, and I found the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons from the early 1940s. Sarah, have you seen these?
No. Tell me more.
Oh, man. It is basically DC or National as it was called then tried selling the rights to Superman to make a movie serial to Republic Pictures, and that didn't work out. So they ended up selling the rights to an animation studio, Max Fleischer, who did Popeye and a lot of other things, who basically didn't want to do it. So they quoted a price to Paramount that was exorbitantly expensive, and Paramount said yes. So there's these rotoscoping techniques, so it looks very lifelike, and it's just incredibly beautiful animation that still holds up 70 years later. And the thing that I noticed, it's these 10-minute shorts. Each one they explain right up front. Superman is really strong. He disguises himself as Clark Kent. Basically the same theme music and a theme song that's started the George Reeves Superman TV show in the 50s. And it's some problem. And what's really funny is by today's standards, you would expect Superman to be proactive or, you know, watching for danger or being more of a detective. And it's more Lois doing all of that stuff. And Clark Kent doesn't change into Superman until Lois is actually in danger. So it's a really interesting take to think that, like, oh, there's like 4 other times where he could have turned into Superman and stopped all of this. And it's like, oh, God damn it, Lois, what are you doing? All right, fine. but it's really gorgeous animation and music, and very sparse dialogue. There's very little dialogue, so it's all action oriented. And it I would really encourage people to check that out.
Well, very
The Max
interesting. Yeah.
Fleischers. Mhm.
Well, all you DC Universe subscribers out there.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool.
and those cartoons have been public domain for a long time. Like I remember seeing like 1,000 VHS tapes of those. Just just because anyone who was running a VHS shop out of their garage would have those Superman cartoons. So I'm sure it's available other places besides DC Universe. Yeah, what's going on with you, Sarah? Anything?
Uh, my very strange uh, my very strange semester is winding down, so that's good. I have just started watching Never Have I Ever on Netflix at my friend Tanya Melendez's recommendation, because she never steers me wrong. And it's delightful. And I think it's important that you all know that the actress who played Mona on Legends of Tomorrow is delightful in it. So that is, if there's my DC connection there that makes me able to flog this delightful teen coming of age rom-com comedy, exciting, cringy, wonderful show by Mindy Kaling. So there you go. That's what I'm up to.
All right. That's great. And I'd like to thank everyone for listening. If you haven't had a chance, if you're listening to us and there's an option to rate and review us, please do that. Especially on Apple Podcasts, that helps people find us. And if you want to be extra helpful, we are part of Wicked Theory Studios, which has a Patreon, patreon.com/Wicked Theory. So you can offer a couple of shekels a month and help us just keep the lights on. It just covers our overhead. But there is a bonus podcast there called Ed Bonds with Bill, where our executive producer Bill Sweeney and I watch James Bond movies. He was not an initiate fan, and I've been introducing him to them. And we're slowly getting down. We're doing one podcast a month, but we're almost done with the official James Bond canon. There's only one movie left, but our most recent episode was Diamonds Are Forever.
Sing it.
Diamonds are forever.
Thank you.
Forever.
So do you think he is going to like the non-official ones more or less than the official ones?
Oh, no. I don't want to spoil much, but one of them I got off eBay for a stupidly expensive price because I wanted to see the Blu-ray. And I am very afraid of what happens when we watch that episode. So I know Bill is going to be extra cautious after he hears me say that. But it's all about the pod. It's all about the content, and there will be good content that comes from that, I promise. So yeah. Sarah, you think it's time to talk about the episodes?
I am excited to talk about these episodes. Let's do it.
Good. All right. First up is Batwoman. Season 1, Episode 17, A Narrow Escape. A depressed and traumatized Kate took a week off from the Batsuit, and Gotham could not handle it. A copycat of the detonator began setting off bombs to cover up the murder of Luke's dad. Alice was restless in Arkham and found herself antagonizing Mouse and Tommy Elliot. Last minute reveal, Alice told Mouse, who was now posing as Dr. Butler, that she decided to stay in Arkham for a while and plan her comeback.
So I feel like I have a certain brand. And in order to maintain that brand on this podcast, I just have to say, Luke Fox, my word. More angry working out, please. I thought this was a great episode for Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought I feel like we definitely had like a culmination of his character arc
Mhm.
so far in the season. And also some great comedic moment when uh Margaret, no, the sister,
Mary?
Mary comes in at the end, is like, I know.
Oh, that was
I know Kate's Catwoman.
we've been waiting for that all season long, right? And it was
Yes.
delightful. Oh no, I know. And he's just like, you have to do a showing with the I will get you comps. Words. Delightful. It was everything I wanted.
hmm hmm So how many episodes before Luke and Mary kiss?
I say, well, so this is tough because in a normal season I would have said penultimate episode of the season, but I don't know what's happening with the storylines now with everything shut down. But a couple more. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I would say 3 episodes um would be my guess. Um, yeah, let's talk about Kate. I think she does deserve a break every once in a while, and it's not fair that people just decide to set off bombs. I wish she could give the city like notice when she's taking a vacation, but that's probably a bad
Well,
idea
I feel
too.
like that's bad for the criminal. I mean, that's bad if you want to avoid the criminal element.
Yes. Um, but yeah, it looks like she was still having a rough time getting into this episode. But once we got into the detective part of this, of like trying to track down who the detonator really was, or whether or not this was a copycat, I thought it was extremely well done. I think this was
Yeah.
a very well put together episode.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was well plotted. It fit in with quite a few, I don't know, like you say, it was the culmination of what Luke has been going through. It continues sort of that storyline. I like that it got Sophie back into the Crow's good graces, so there was that too. Plus, anytime you've got a fake second Batwoman running around, it's not all bad.
Yeah. That was a great. I actually wish we gotten a little bit more of that. Um, because like that almost feels like another character that could be like just show up at the clinic and start helping Mary. Um, you know, uh, but yeah, I thought that was a great idea. Um, yeah, a lot to like about this episode. Um,
I love the cold open with the sisters hanging out and playing video games. It's I mean it's a little sad. I just that
mm,
the what could have been always makes me sad.
yeah, and Alice, uh, I feel like this is something I see a lot in stories that take place with people who are in therapy or in a mental ward, um, where she's trying to break the rules and everyone else is like, no, actually, I kind of want to get help. Um,
Hmm.
and I thought this was an interesting take. I actually kind of, for the first time, I actually kind of felt bad for Mouse, because you could see that he, was like, okay, maybe I'll try this and see if it works, and she kind of manipulated him out of that.
Yeah, yeah. It they remain extremely unhealthy together, but very fun to watch. I kind of like the thought of her deciding to just chill at Arkham for a while. That's if you know you can leave any time, I guess you don't have to.
Yeah.
But I will never get over her unstitching her wound.
Ooh, yeah, that was rough. Um, and how long is Mouse gonna get away with walking around as Dr. Butler?
I don't
Like,
know. Is he gonna have to? Is it gonna be like we just saw Mouse? He was just here. Where's Dr. Butler? You're here now. Can Mouse just be gone forever? Does Dr. Butler have a family who's gonna be like, hey, my husband didn't come home? I don't know.
yeah, Yeah. Questions.
Also, how is he making I mean, doesn't that take supplies? Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
I guess. I
Yeah.
just feel like you'd have to have a little bit more materials at your disposal to fabricate. But I mean, Mouse, he makes do. He's crafty.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like, oh, she said she's staying. All right. So maybe I'll just take this off.
Yeah, true. I guess you stash it away so you can, use it whenever. I don't know.
Yeah. 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 Because that'll keep.
He'll stay fresh. So do we want to talk about how the Joker is apparently dead?
Yeah. 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 The Joker's never really dead.
No,
You
you
know?
can't kill the Joker.
You can't kill the Joker. He might have fallen off a cliff or, down a bottomless pit or something like that. The presumption may be that he's dead, but he will always come back.
Yeah. But I do like, I like that they've done away with some of the voiceovering to Bruce, which is good. But we have not forgotten him. That I like maybe this is why he left town implication. Yeah, no. It's just all kind of worked this week for me. It gelled.
Yeah. And we're still getting Vesper Fairchild. I think she was only on like once this week, but I do like that, even though it's a little bit, but just that little bit of commentary that kind of creeps into the show. Yeah, this was like, this was like a high for the show. I feel like this episode, Batwoman's been getting better and better as this season's rolled along.
Yeah, it's figuring out what it wants to be, and I think it's figuring out how to use Ruby Rose as an interesting actress, and I feel like they're using her strengths well. Her strengths being sort of stoicism, deadpan. I don't know. I like her. I've always liked her, but I really have liked her in these last several episodes, and I think the rest of the characters are sort of coming to the forefront, and I remain a big fan of Mary. Big fan.
Yeah.
So, question: is Mary like the Lee Tompkins of this show? Well, I'm thinking about it, like Gotham Lee Tompkins with the underground clinic kind of situation. I feel like are there parallels there?
Oh, definitely. There's much more of a personal connection here. I think between Lee and Kate than there is between Mary and Kate than there is between Lee and Bruce. But yeah, that makes sense.
It just felt like somebody kind of running a backdoor clinic,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. There was no news for Batwoman, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then we are moving on to The Flash. Season 6, episode 17, Liberation. While Eve's plan kicked into high gear, Barry set out to prove imposter Iris wasn't Iris. Cisco and Ralph found Caitlin sick with a freezing cold. Last-minute reveal, from opposite ends of the mirror world, Barry and Iris both promised to get back to each other.
Boy, I wish I liked Barry and Iris more as a couple, because this was a very nice Barry and Iris episode, and I just don't really...
No, you weren't like, you were like sitting there like a 12-year-old girl watching Titanic in like 97 going, oh my god, this is so sad.
Okay, that is how I watched Titanic, and I wasn't 12, but that's okay. No, I really wasn't. And I feel really bad because the Flash is really trying. They're trying to make them the couple. I get it. And I mean, it was well done. Like Mirror Iris, even the power of their love is too much for Mirror Iris, who cracks and crumbles in his arms, and it's so sad. But I don't know, man. I did love the gaslighting of Barry Allen. That was amazing.
Yes, yeah. And I will say the Barry without his powers facing off against a T-1000, like feel like that's like a top 5 action scene for the entire series.
Cutting edge 1992 special effects straight from Hollywood.
They still work. They still work.
T1000 100% in my notes as well. So thank you for that. It was great.
Yeah. Those cuts, the blood. I thought that was an incredible, heartbreaking. Because it's almost like he doesn't know if he hurts her, if that's going to do anything to Iris.
Yeah.
But Iris figured out like no, it's Eve's the one you gotta hurt to stop. And now to see imposter Camilla sacrifice herself like that. And I guess Singh is still out there somewhere. So yeah. I mean, everything
get all
that
their mirror people back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you? I will say,
again,
I was
if
a
I
little
was
upset.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was gonna say, I said, if I was a Barry Iris person, this would have been a fantastic episode. So, you West Allen shippers out there, congratulations! This was a great testament to their running home to you scenario. Anyway, okay, you go.
I was a little disappointed when Bloodwork showed up in this episode.
I felt the opposite. I was like, Bloodwork! Yay! I just love that voiceovering bastard. I love him so much.
I don't know. I thought we were done with him. And then have him like, they've still got to make this season come full circle. God damn it. I just hope that he doesn't become like, a tag on villain in the finale or something like that. Because it did seem like they were setting that up.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of feel like he. By the way, earlier I recommended Never Have I Ever on Netflix because Ramona Young from Legends is in it. Sendil Ramamurthy is also in it, Bloodwork. So there is a strong DC connection, not plot wise, just guest stars. Anyway, continuing. Bloodwork, yay! Yeah. I just love that he seems so normal, and then it's like, nope, I'm actually like a literal nightmare. Look upon my veins.
Yeah. Yes. And even older pop culture reference. I think Cecile in this episode has officially turned into Deanna Troi.
I sense hostility.
Where she doesn't know. Like at this point, the fact that she couldn't tell that Iris was an Iris. And that it took her that long to believe that Barry was Barry. And to break him out. And to not turn and say, nope, you're screwing this up somehow.
I am going to retcon that by saying that she's kind of shaken because Joe is gone. So she's just off her game.
Okay. Sarah, are you familiar with just to go off on a little bit of a Star Trek The Next Generation tangent, are you familiar with a podcast called Star Trek The Next Conversation?
No.
Oh, this is with the legendary Matt Myra and Andy Secunda, who's a nice guy, I guess. They're two television writers on the Goldbergs, but one of them had not seen Next Generation, and the other one, pretty much the setup that I have with Ed Ponce with Bill was inspired by that, where Matt is a super fan and Andy is not, and they're experiencing these episodes together. But Andy has these theories, and one of them is that Deanna Troi actually is not an empath. She just thinks she is. kind of like Daphne on Frasier with her visions. So I'm after this episode, I'm actually starting to wonder if Cecile actually doesn't have those powers anymore. She's just telling herself that she does.
I'm sensing, is someone angry, hungry, tired, annoyed?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and there wasn't that much with Cisco, Ralph, and Caitlin. I actually feel like I was kind of surprised because there was really only 2 scenes with that. Um,
Well, I mean, she's officially laying down and wrapped in a blanket. This is getting really to the gotta hide the pregnancy situation here. So I just laughed and laughed when I saw her on the couch under a blanket. It was like, oh, that's how we're doing it.
yeah, and and the real thing that we found out from that is that she's in trouble, and the only person who can help her is her mom.
Her mom.
So prepare for things to get awkward. Okay.
Let's see.
Anything more to really discuss with the episode?
Just that when Cisco busted out that forehead thermometer, I gasped. Do you know how hard those things are to find right now?
Mm.
And he's just waving it around like, look what I got, contact-free temperature gauge. Like, all right. You're a warlord now because you got one of those, so you call the shots. That's all.
All right. And news for Flash?
Okay, a little bit of news. And this is one actually, Ed, I found while we were doing troubleshooting before we started, and I haven't mentioned to you yet, but the series has been shortened, obviously, from 22 to 19 episodes. Apparently, episode 19 was always planned to be the biggest of the season, and then we would have 2 more episodes to wrap up the events of, or 3 more episodes to wrap up the events of episode 19. Well, episode 19 is the new finale that's airing not this coming week, but the week after. And so it's a really great way to end the season, is what they say. There's a lot of twists, a lot of action, so it's going to be a huge episode. So we aren't going to feel like, that's it this season when the Flash ends. So that's kind of cool, I thought.
Okay.
We'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grant Gustin apparently was on Inside of You, the Michael Rosenbaum podcast, and talked a lot.
Oh my God, it was Rosenbaum.
Yeah, that guy. He's the Terry Gross of nerds. Because he just extracts information from the guests on his show, like fresh air.
No. But every time we've heard from Rosenbaum in like the last 3 months, it's been bad news. So I'm preparing myself.
Well, I mean, it's not bad news, but Grant Gustin did say his contract runs through season 7, and he was negotiating with the showrunners, with the studio, for seasons 8 and 9, but the coronavirus shutdown also shut down the negotiations for a season possibly 8 and 9. He mentioned
Flash is only going to go one more season. What, we only got one more season?
I mean, they're negotiating. They're negotiating. It's not a no thing. But he did say, and I don't know if this to me felt like a negotiating tactic. He was like, "Yeah, I've missed out on a lot of projects because I lead a network show, and it's hard to book things in the off, whatever. So I've kind of missed out on some things." I'm assuming he tossed that out there so they'd back a truck of money up. I don't know. But I did think it was interesting that they were at least looking ahead for 2 more seasons with The Flash after season 7. But so that nothing is happening on that front right now, but it was, and it's done for now.
You heard it here first. Next season will be Flash's last. It's
I don't think that's no. Don't think like that. It could still happen.
Man, maybe they'll spin it off into Impulse. I don't know. All right. Cool. All right. So that's it for Flash news. Time to move on to our final episode for the week. Sarah, you ready?
Oh, so ready.
DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Season 5, Episode 15, The Great British Fake-Off. After a summoning spell went wrong, Zari and Constantine got thrown back in time and tried to find the last loom ring in a boarding house before a gaggle of encores. With Sarah in a coma, Ava decided to literally go to hell and confront Astra. Last minute reveal, Astra told Constantine she was ready to help him build the loom.
This show every week is so good. That's all. So I love how totally accepted it is in pop culture that Jack the Ripper actually was a doctor, that the instant that dude was a doctor, Jason and I were both like, oh, that's Jack the Ripper. 100%. Like, that's just how accepted that is, at least in my house. So that was fun.
Yeah, I agree. You did have we had some fun encores here. We got Bonnie and Clyde, we got Black Caesar, we got Brutus. Um and but the real character reveal in here is we got Sarah, we got to meet Enchantress.
Yeah, so I only know her from Suicide Squad, which is probably not the best version of Enchantress.
No. This was much more. I mean, the one thing that that you're not seeing in this is that, you know, Enchantress is kind of like a spirit who like possesses people, and um you know, is much, you could do a lot more you know, psychotic mood swings stuff with her. um so the Suicide Squad movie is a little better in that respect. And but visually I think this was closer. I mean, she doesn't have that like plunging neckline, um you know, that goes down to her belly button, that you see in the comics version of her, or the big green witch's cap. um
Both of those things are probably blessings.
but they got the color scheme right. And yeah, we did see a little bit more of Enchantress's personality. And you know, the idea that she and Constantine know each other. um uh man, you could, oh, if they could spin off Justice League Dark out of Legends. I mean, JJ Abrams has that show at HBO Max, and I've been hearing rumors that they might pull Swamp Thing into it. So,
Would
man,
would we then lose Constantine on Legends for Justice League Dark, or would Matt Ryan just do both if we asked him nicely?
I mean,
feel like
I'm
he'd just
sure
do
Matt
both.
Ryan, yeah, he would just do both. I mean, if we had to make that trade off, I think I would. Um, but yeah. So let's talk more about this episode. Let's talk about Zari. And is Zari and Constantine going to be a thing now?
Oh, let me tell you, I have some thoughts about this. As soon as they started bickering the way that they were, I was just like, ooh, this is going to be angry kissing. This is exciting. But then you got like wounded puppy dog Nate, and then you've got Constantine watching the Nate and Zari together, just like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I'll just slink away. Oh, I love it. All the angst. Give me all the angst. All of it. I don't know how directly they'll address it, actually. I don't know if this is a show that's going to full on do a love triangle, but it is, I mean, this is a different Zari. So it's, you know, to think that she would be drawn to somebody else is interesting, and I don't hate it. I like the energy she and Constantine had. I also love the way she just rolled with it and was like, I guess I'm Cleopatra now. Let's do this. Amazing.
Yeah. And I thought the chemistry between them, I mean, that actress who plays Zari just has chemistry with everyone she works with.
Genuinely, yes.
Yeah. But I thought seeing them work together, I thought was really cool. And also seeing Zari walk around as Cleopatra was great. Also mainly because that is she was pretty much walking around dressed as Isis, the character from the 70s that she's based on.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. If you remember that, Isis was actually a spin-off, started as a TV character, which was a spin-off of the Saturday morning Shazam TV show.
Huh.
And you know, she had an amulet that let her fly around, and with these wind powers. And yeah, the costume was basically what we saw Zari wearing when she was playing Cleopatra.
Well, that's delightful.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, the producers on this show will always find a way. The fan service here is great. Yeah, and Uh, I was disappointed that Sarah was out of commission. But we did get some bold moves from Ava. Um, I think she made the right choice bringing Mick along with her.
I just love that she had to use Gary. And you know what? I've missed Gary, and I was glad to see Gary back. I mean, you go to war with the sorcerer you have, right? Like, she's doing what she needs to.
And what did you think now that Astra has figured out that Lachesis was manipulating her?
You know, I was excited to see her free them. It wasn't particularly surprising. Like, of course, that was going to happen. But I'm kind of into the uneasy alliance, and frankly, I feel like this redemption for John has been building since what year was Constantine on NBC?
20. It was the same year, 2014. Yeah,
God, it feels like so much longer ago. But yeah, okay. So I feel like this storyline cool. Like, we've been waiting 6 years for John to be able to make amends, and this is going to be the chance. So I am still delighted that they have managed to carry this over from one network and one show to another with the same actor and the same character.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sarah's out of hell. I mean, Astra's out of hell. So I mean, for Constantine, that has to at least be some kind of win.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. Does he take wins? I feel like he doesn't take wins very well.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah. But this season's coming along. And I like that we have defined bad guys, and that loom was really quick to find. I feel like in past seasons, we're lucky that there was only 3 pieces and not like 7. Like the Spear of Destiny. But yeah. And I think now we're really getting ready for a showdown.
Yeah. This show is so good. That's all. I'm sorry. This is one that I take so few notes on because I just genuinely enjoy it. I mean, there's just, I just really like it. And you know what? I'm going to say something blasphemous. I don't even miss Ray that much. I mean, I do. Of course I do. But it's been so busy and so full and so entertaining that I don't feel that absence, So.
Yeah. I mean, the show probably had too many characters to begin with.
Yeah, and honestly, I like all of them. There's not one that I think, bounce that guy. There are no Hawk people. There's no obvious get them out. So,
give it to. We went back to ancient Egypt. The fact that there were no Hawk people there was a little surprising to me. But okay,
maybe that's what made me think of them, because it felt like what's his name could be just lurking Khufu at any time.
All right. No news for Legends, right?
Nope.
All right, on to news for other shows.
We don't have a ton, but what we have is interesting. So let's start with a kind of bigger story from the WB-TV production studios. The WB-TV president, Susan Robner, and Brett Paul had a conference call with all of their people, basically, to discuss what the heck they're doing with the coronavirus shutdown and how that might play out as they start getting closer to thinking about maybe getting back to work. So they're not close to getting back to work. They're not making any announcements or plans, but they're just saying, when the time comes, here are some things we need to keep in mind. And so they talked about things like, probably for the time being, we're not going to have love scenes between actors because nobody wants to kiss up on somebody else. For fight scenes and stunts, we're not going to be able to do like close hand-to-hand combat. We can't have stunt doubles like hanging around and doubling everybody's breathing on each other. We'd have to be doing stunts from far apart. Maybe we have production teams that work in pods that are isolated together and work together. We don't have any local directors. We don't have day players coming and going. We stick with the core cast. Main actors are asked not to leave the set on the weekends, not to fly anywhere. We're not shooting outdoors. We're shooting on closed sets. All non-actors are masked and gloved. Those are just some of the things they were discussing might need to happen when production resumes on these shows. And I gotta say, honestly, Ed, I don't need new TV that badly right now. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like so basically all the stuff that we, would do on a superhero show that we're probably not going to do. Um yeah. Um I mean, maybe I'm probably exaggerating it a little bit, but the idea that you can't hire local crews, it's like, and what are you going to do? Fly people in from LA? It just
Or
doesn't.
I mean, I guess if you
Mhm.
are filming in Canada, which a lot of these shows do, you have your local crew and they isolate for 2 weeks and everybody tests clean and then they do their thing, but then you've got local crew who are not with their families and not, and I don't know, these sets I imagine are so porous with craft services and costume and makeup and all the people who are going to be coming and going and delivering and dropping off, and I can't even wrap my mind around controlling something like that. And then imagine you're a Melissa Benoist who is pregnant with her first child with Chris Wood. Do you want to isolate yourself? Does your husband come with you? Does your baby? I just I boy, I don't know. So,
Yeah.
but it's so interesting to me. Apparently, the two presidents spoke. They were basically the only ones who spoke. It wasn't like a Q&A. It wasn't a fact finding mission. They just were like, "Here are some things we're talking about that would be possible safety protocols. Keep it in mind." So it was just, I don't know. It's a story and variety, and it's pretty interesting to see what people are talking about and how that pre-vaccine environment might look for some of our shows and movies too.
All right. All right.
So yeah. Yeah.
All right. Cool. What's next?
Okay, so it's more bad news. Doom Patrol. So we hadn't really talked about Doom Patrol recently, but I don't know about you all. I've been kind of waiting for the announcement of when season 2 is going to happen. Actually, season 2 production got shut down by the coronavirus pandemic as well. That was not really a part of the official announcements when they came rolling down, but Greg Berlanti sent a message to showrunners saying he gave $1 million to relief efforts for those impacted by the pandemic. And he said he's helping people who work on Berlanti Productions and the shows that were hit with that shutdown, including Doom Patrol. So that's new on this list of shows we already knew had been shut down. So it does not say in this article how far into season 2 Doom Patrol was when they shut it down. But it says that there was, that it was shut down. So the most recent news we had gotten was some casting. The Glee alum Samantha Marie Ware had joined as one of Crazy Jane's personalities. So that, we had the Chief's daughter is joining. That's kind of the news that we had. And then now this. So were they done shooting and in post-production? Were they in the middle of like the pilot or the premiere of this? Nobody knows. So, I mean, nobody, the internet doesn't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You say things.
I was going to say, I kind of first became suspicious when HBO Max announced their launch date and that Doom Patrol wasn't part of the initial slate. Cause I know Doom Patrol's meant to simul stream, on DC Universe and HBO Max. So that was probably the first clue that maybe they weren't done. But this is kind of a bummer because it's been more than a year.
Well, and it makes me think they were behind in production of season 2. I mean, it should have been done by the time it hit, I would think, because it usually releases in May. So
yeah. Well, I think because no, I mean it.
Well, there is no usually. I realize that.
Yeah. For season 1 premiered in January.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
Why did I think it was a spring show? That's so wild. Anyway.
Yeah. It was or January, February, something like that. Or maybe I'm off. Maybe it was March.
No,
but
you always have a good memory for that.
Yeah,
so.
definitely earlier in the year, because remember it was Titans, and maybe there was like a month or two of Young Justice, and then they went into Doom Patrol. But basically, Stargirl is taking the slot that Doom Patrol would have had. And yeah. So I was hoping for something late summer, like July or August, but.
And, honestly, it could be a Supergirl situation where they're cobbling together a finale and they're going to finish the season. So it could be that, but it could be that they were still breaking stories and planning to shoot. By the way, it premiered on February 15th of 2019 and it ran through the end of May. So it was around this time last year that it was kind of right in the middle of its run. And yeah, I'm with you. I think it's one of the best DC shows. I think it's my favorite of the DC Universe live action shows. So if they had it for that HBO Max launch, I feel like they would have promoted that hard. So not great news, but also not very specific news. But at least that explains why we haven't seen a date, because I've kind of been waiting for them to announce one. And that is why, presumably, they haven't.
All right.
Okay, but Ed, I have good news. I have one last piece of news, and it's good.
Okay.
It is for Green Lantern.
Green Lantern music.
Over on HBO Max. Jeff Johns is on board to produce.
Yay!
I don't know what that means, really. I know Jeff Johns, obviously, but tell me why this is good.
Jeff Johns was the chief creative officer for DC. I believe he stepped out of that role and has formed his own company. He's still writing comics. But was kind of doing his own thing. But he was the main writer on Green Lantern for had to be like 15 years or something. He's the guy who brought Hal Jordan back from the dead. And had a revolutionary run on the character. So to hear that he's involved with this, it seems like a no-brainer. I can't imagine that he would allow that character to be produced in another medium and not be involved. So this is someone who knows Hal Jordan really well, has written some of the best Hal Jordan stories of the last 30 years. And yeah, the fact that he's involved, I feel like this, project has the right ingredients and will go in the right direction. The fact that I wish that we could be getting a little bit more news on the development of the show. But yeah, it's a good sign.
I just keep clinging to this hope that all the writers in the world are locked away breaking stories and working on scripts. I say this as a writer of fiction who has not been able to write a damn thing in 2 months. But maybe other people out there are having more luck than I am. But I keep thinking when we're ready to go, I mean, are we just going to have a raft of scripts that are just like, bam, here you go. Episode 1, episode 2, here you go. Maybe it could happen. Let me have this optimism.
Yeah, of course. All right. So that's it for the news, right?
That's it. That is it.
All right, on to our winners for the week.
Ooh, I have a theme.
Ooh, okay, what you got?
I am going with love triangles. Yeah. Okay. So obviously over on Legends, you've got your Nate, Zari, Constantine, right? That is shaping up. There are longing glances. There's leaning, there's lingering. It's all the stuff that I personally eat up with a spork, like yay. But I feel like you can also kind of stretch it and see it on the other two shows too. With over on The Flash, you've got Barry Iris and Mirror Iris. I feel like Mirror Iris really, she did love her husband in her own way before she cracked like a mirror person. Mm-hmm. So you had a little triangle there. And then I don't know if Batwoman's going to go full bore on this, but I do think you've kind of got a Kate, Sophie, Julia, Pennyworth kind of situation shaping up there. Maybe, possibly, kind of. But I felt like there were you've got some lingering glances or some this person, but this person tension in all three, but definitely Legends is bringing it to the forefront, and I am here for it.
All right. Good theme.
Thank you. I don't usually do one. I'm very proud of myself. Okay, you go.
My winner this week is Kate Kane. I thought she had a really rough time at the start of this episode, but she got it together, found the bad guy, and I just think she was, that episode was running on all cylinders, and I really like, what Ruby Rose did in that episode.
I almost feel like Batwoman itself is kind of just winning. Just the show. It's just, it's figuring out what it is. I'm very excited for it. Mm-hmm. Yay. Hey, look at us ending on an up note. Yay.
All right, Sarah, we did an episode.
We did an episode.
All right, that's the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Little Eddie O'Hare.
I'm at Sarah Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister show, the Wicked Theory Podcast. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer, Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam!